All right, another one of those days, but welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I am your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Go there and feast yourself with many readable things. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Cayuga County lawmakers in New York are rejecting a settlement offer and will appeal a court ruling that allows the Cayuga Nation to sell tax-free cigarettes at the tribe's two upstate New York convenience stores. County lawmakers voted 14-1 to appeal a recent ruling that the state's top court of appeals made. The Cayuga offered to pay Seneca and Cayuga counties more than $180,000 to cover legal bills tied to the case and said they wouldn't sue the counties for millions of dollars in damages for lost revenue, legal cost, and the value of cigarettes seized from their stores in Union Springs and Seneca Falls last November. In exchange, the nation asked the counties not to challenge the mid-level appeals court win. Two Massachusetts tribes say they're frustrated that federal officials have not properly addressed their concerns about an energy-generating wind farm proposal for the waters off of Cape Cod. The Mashpee Wampanoag and the Wampanoag of Gay Head say the U.S. Minerals Management Service, the lead agency reviewing the proposed Nantucket Sound wind farm, has not fully considered issues raised by the tribes. The tribes claim the proposed wind farm would destroy a sacred site where their ancestors fished, hunted, and possibly were buried. They also say it would obstruct their views and interfere with their spiritual well-being. They want the project stopped. A spokesman for the federal agency tells the Cape Cod Times that the minerals management is working, quote, in good faith, unquote, with the tribes. The Navajo Nation Council is set to gather for its annual summer session this week. Behind the scenes, council members are working hard to come up with a way to stop a referendum that would cut the number of lawmakers by more than half and give the tribal president more authority. The major part of that push is Delegate Raymond Joe's move to repeal a law that the tribal council passed 7 years ago in an attempt to preserve the traditional ways of life among the Navajo. Legislation to repeal what's known as Dene fundamental law, based on centuries of customary, traditional, natural, and common law, isn't on the council's agenda, but because the summer session is designated as an emergency session, lawmakers could easily add it. Joe introduced the bill just weeks after a tribal judge cited fundamental law in allowing two initiatives led by Navajo President Joe Shirley Jr. to go before voters in a special election. One seeks to reduce the tribal council from 88 members to 24. The other would give the president line item veto authority. The U.S. Department of Education has awarded more than $6 million to improve the educational prospects of Native Hawaiian students. The University of Hawaii Hilo will receive more than $1.7 million to expand the Native Hawaiian Student Center. Close to $2 million will go to the Kapoialani Community College to renovate facilities, including the Malama Hawaii Center. The college will also receive $692,000 to strengthen support service and diversity curriculum. And Chamamanade University will receive $2 million for improvements for its communications program, including infrastructure and information technology improvements. The 34th Annual Indian Progress in Business Event 2009 is slated to take place at the Crown Plaza Hotel in downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma on September 16th through the 18th. Celebrating achievement at the crossroads of Indian country is this year's theme, which promises dynamic business networking opportunities with the movers and shakers of Indian country and Fortune 500 companies. Visionary entrepreneur Dave Anderson, a Lakota Ojibwe tribal member and Choctaw descendant and founder of Famous Days, will MC InPro 2009, which is the National Center for American Indian Economic Development's oldest and most prestigious American Indian business recognition celebration. The premier black tie event for Indian country will acknowledge the accomplishments and contributions of Native American business owners and those who support their business and economic endeavors. A proposal to transplant up to 30 swift foxes to the Fort Peck Indian Reservation is covered in a draft environmental study by the State Wildlife Agency of Montana. Foxes from northeastern Montana would be transplanted to augment a 2006 Fort Peck project designed to expand the animal's distribution. Whether to allow the additional transplanting will be up for consideration by the Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks Commission on August 13th. The Glasgow office of the Department of Fish and Wildlife and Parks released the environmental study and will take public comment on it through August 4th. The swift fox is about the size of a house cat and is preyed upon by coyotes. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast, and you for joining with us again. You have a great day. Miigwech.